You pray for my downfall, but still I'ma stand tall. I already walked on water before. What more could you ask for? Got no time, no space in my mind for a non-believer. They say I've lost my touch, I talk too much, I'm an underachiever. Hate how you wanna hate, I don't really care what the bad mind say. I'ma keep walking and all of that talking is gonna fade away.
Hello and welcome to The Actors Post, a platform that was created for entertainers, by yours truly, Alister Albert. I'm the founder and creator of the platform, The Actors Post. It was created back in 2016, 2017, thereabout, as I undertook my own journey into becoming a creative and becoming an actor and trying to understand what it took to navigate this industry, starting out as someone who didn't go into conventional acting school, etc., but trying to see if I could find my way. So I interviewed people from the entertainment industry, whether it be actors, film producers, cameramen, musicians, supermodels, rappers. We've had quite a few people on this platform that have been interviewed, kind of giving their story as to what it took to become the people that they are in this industry. So we're gonna, do the same thing here today. I know it's been a little while since the platform has been active. Of course, I've been a little busy taking on other creative roles and other media activities, being the NBA analyst for Sportsmax and other things that I had going on. So I'm here to try to breathe a little new life into the platform. It's been a little while, but I'm really happy that I'm doing this right now with two artists from Saint Lucia who I think you're going to totally enjoy and love hearing their story. Both from the south of the island, basically. One from Viewfort, absolute south of the island, and Labrie. Respectively, those guys are Showing Dupes Bryce and Keen the Mecca Quarter. These guys have kind of taken on all roles in the music industry, basically. Obviously being singers themselves, music producers, composers, writers, beat makers, and they're now just trying to get into the entrepreneurship of being in the music industry as well, doing quite a lot of things to try to market themselves and their product, their sound out to the world, basically. And they've done a really good job at that. Their music has been featured in television shows, fashion shows, the Boston's mayor summer playlist. Some of their songs have been on there, and they're doing quite a lot of big things, which I think is really great and pioneering for Saint Lucia in quite a few ways. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this interview looks like and what you think of this interview with these two guys, Showing and Keen. I am really keen to hear what they have to say, and I hope you are too. So I'm not going to take too much further into this introduction. You listen to what they have to say. It was a really lovely chat. We spoke about many different things from their upbringing into music and where they are right now. And I think it's going to be a really lovely chat, which you will enjoy. So stay tuned. We're going to have this chat with them, Dupes and the Mecca collaborators, working together on creating just beautiful sounds for Saint Lucia. They're doing it major. Check it out. Hello, good night, everyone. Welcome to The Actors Post. My name is Alister Albert, host of this podcast and web series. I have right here with me two producers, singers, songwriters, extraordinaires from the island of St. Lucia. They're here in the UK right now doing a little bit of a mini tour, doing their thing in the musical landscape. And, I'm really happy to have you guys on, as guys from St. Lucia. What I should say as well is Bonjour Creole. I know it's a Creole Day in St. Lucia. We're not on island enjoying everything that we have to offer in the island in that regard, but of course,
yes,
make sure everyone remembers, it's a very important day in St. Lucia for our culture. And, having you guys here in the UK is probably going to be a little bit of an extension of that. So welcome to Showing Dupes Bryce. Give us a little wave there so everyone knows this is you. And Keen Quarter, also known as the Mecca, your artist, from St. Lucia, like I said. And, these guys are doing their thing over here in the UK at the moment. And, guys, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on to this program with me. The first thing I wanted to really ask straight away, like I introduced right there, is, you guys are here in the UK, you guys are across the pond, somewhere you're probably not over very often. Why are you guys over here? What's going on? What brought you here to the UK and bringing your talents across the seas?
I think I'll say what someone said the other night at one of our shows. We just came to bring some sunshine, man. They say it's always raining here, it's always drab. So
Yeah.
We brought the sunshine, and we didn't bring a pocket full. We brought a duffel bag and two roller luggage packages as well. Whoa. Every October there is a World Music Expo. We've had the ability, the privilege to attend the last 3 years, starting off in Lisbon, last year in A Coruña, Spain, and this year it was in Manchester. So last year, we got together as longtime collaborators with my team leader Jody, and we all decided that we needed to create something that would be more effective, more impactful. So we created the Paradise Life and started doing dates in these markets this year with a main focus on the UK.
Right. Okay, cool. And how has that been received so far? Where have you guys gone so far with that? You said it's in Manchester. So how was that received? How is everyone in Manchester? How welcoming were they to what you guys are doing?
I mean, even as far down as today, we just, everywhere we go, we have the opportunity to wave our flag, the Saint Lucian flag, proudly, proudly. Tell people about our culture. It's very well received. We kicked it off. Our first date was at the Saint Lucia High Commission in London. We did a networking event called Island Influence, Saint Lucia in Focus. That was amazing. We had a gig this week in Stockport, which is about, I'd say maybe 15 minutes outside of Manchester. And like I said, pocket full of sunshine. It was just well received. We had our own booth at the expo, and we met with the different delegates, different industry professionals, and have just been literally preaching the gospel of St. Lucia's greatness and St. Lucia's creativity and what the island has to offer beyond tourism and good Creole food.
That's right. That's right. And Mecca, how was it for you? How did you kind of take in everything in Manchester, coming over here and everything? Was this your first time in the UK? Or was it both of you guys? Was it the first time in the UK or been here and performed before?
Been here before.
Yeah, we've been here before. Last year was the first time, we really did the tour, and we had a show out in London.
Right.
That one too was well received because it was the first time, we really put it together, and we presented a package to our St. Lucians in the diaspora. But what is also so amazing about what we do is that it extends to beyond the diaspora, right? There's always visitors from. It's like we're in the UK. We're inviting people to St. Lucia. Wherever we are in the UK, we make it St. Lucia, and we invite people to that space. And so people from all across the world really and truly come to wherever we invite them. So, for example, the show we had at the High Commission, we had people all over the world. We had Colombia, we had Switzerland, we had Canada. Like, there were a vast majority of people from St. Lucia as well, but a lot of people, visitors from across the world. And that's what we try to do, right? We want to present St. Lucia, the difference in us to the St. Lucians, but also the difference of St. Lucia to the wider world. When people, think of St. Lucia, usually, they think of a certain genre of music and so on. But when we come and we present our product, they see it's different. But it's still rooted in St. Lucian culture and St. Lucian history, right? And then so we package that and we present that to the St. Lucians abroad, and we also present that to the visitors who look at St. Lucia and say, oh, you know what? These guys are doing a wonderful job. I love what they do. I'll follow them on Instagram, and I'll be sure to visit them in St. Lucia at some point.
That's awesome. And I think that's really good, because I think these opportunities and these sort of events, like you say, it's an opportunity to meet people from all different walks of life and different cultures, and have the opportunity for you guys to make connections, get people to follow you on Instagram, you follow them as well, and probably even have opportunities to work with them in the future, because, you guys share that common interest in music and being creative in that sort of way. So that was really good. So that event at the High Commission, could you tell me a little more about that? I think it was like a networking event for other creators, professionals in the field. I don't think it was just musicians per se. I think there were actors and dancers and everything else. What was actors. That like, and how did that go?
I think it went really, really well. It was our first time doing something like that.
Right.
I in the market. It was very important for us to connect with the other creatives, the other entrepreneurs, the other poets, actors, designers, artists within the market, so that we could all look at each other, connect with each other, and know. You know what I'm saying? Being a musician can sometimes be very isolating. You're in the studio by yourself, you're backstage by yourself, you're on stage, you're only. But then an event like what we had at the High Commission allowed us to see the linkages, to see how our music is impacting other things, and to see how we could make an impact on those other industries with our music. So that was it was excellent. You know, it really was excellent. It also gave us the opportunity to reconnect with someone that had been on my team a very long time, Amani Mafre, where she sat and she interviewed us, and we were able to tell our story as musicians, as creatives, and we did that whilst presenting our music. So it really created a different level or layer of meaning for what we did, and a different layer of connection.
Awesome. I think I want to kind of touch back on something Mecca said. You know, you said people tend to have a little bit of a perception of what type of music might come out from Saint Lucia. And of course, coming from the islands, many people know us for soca music or calypso music, and I think maybe that's what they tend to think is mostly what our forte would be. But I think you're coming in and you're saying that you could kind of produce that as well, but you have a different sound to it, but you're making that sort of connection. So how important is it? Because I think one of the reasons why it stuck to me when you said that, of course, people who might not know this, you and I went to St. Mary's College, secondary school in St. Lucia. I knew you as a young guy, of course, back then. You were a couple of years above me in secondary school, but I knew you to be I think really into cricket at the time and everything. And so when I got to know you were into music, that was like, oh wow, that's a really different view or path that I thought you probably would have taken. So tell me, how did you kind of get into music? Considering we are so heavily steeped in soca music and calypso music and everything. How did you guys kind of get into music and kind of take this path that you guys are really excellently on right now? I think. Mecca, yes. Start with you.
So you're right about the cricket, man. I was all different sports, but it's just the sports didn't want to dabble with me. You dig?
Cool.
I had to find the alternative. But the way I got involved in music, right? So the thing is, I always listen to I always like music, right? And so I always used to listen to Beanie Man, Bounty Killer, Red Rat, Goofy, and them. And then I figured, you know what, I could probably write my own lyrics. So what I used to do was take their melodies and put my own lyrics to it. And then that's how I started. And then I had a friend of mine back in the day in library. We used to have a lot of toasting competitions, and every time he stepped on stage, he used to win, right?
Right.
I was maybe about 12, 13, 14 around there, right? I was like, dude, next time you step on stage, I want to go with you, right? And he was like, okay, no problem. I was just joking. But then he told me like, yeah, let's go. Like there's a show November, whatever it was, let's go. I'm like, yeah, you serious? I'm like, yeah, cool, let's go. So we stepped on stage and we performed songs by Red Rat and Goofy. I mean, she want, say, y'all be cute. I'm big man, she want, you do want to. Yeah. And everybody loved that, bro. Right. And we were just going to, we were getting invited to perform at school events and all kind of thing, performing Red Rat and Goofy. And then I eventually just, started writing my own lyrics, my own melodies, built my own studio. Imagine not having a job, right? Out of school, not having a job, but then someone having the confidence in you to say, hey, you know what, I'll co-sign a $5,000 loan so you guys can build your studio, right? And Mr. Yves Renard, rest in peace. He passed away recently. So he co-signed a loan, just knowing we were, we were just talented and persistent. We were able to pay off that $5,000 loan as teenagers in no time. The thing is, we made songs, we sold CDs. We were really, we thought globally, but we acted locally, and that brought us some success, and that enabled us to, just start building our business from there. And that's just, when I say us, I'm referring to just my little clique in library. That's even before linking with Dupes, right? Is when we linked with Dupes, then we expanded even more.
Right. So Dupes, tell me, what about you? What was your journey into music, and how did you kind of make that connection and link with Mecca?
Deeply steeped in music. I was always the one that you'd find with the headphones on, with the Walkman, walking around, listening to music, learning lyrics and learning stuff, but never really saw it as a career or anything. It was simply just an escape. There was a point where I just really didn't want anything to do with music because I was just really like locked in with the theory. You know, my dad was sending me, I wanted to be a cadet, and I was going to, camps and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're not going to training today, you're going to music lessons. And I started having music lessons with Miss Gloria Lay in Viewfort, and Mrs. Gloria Lay. And she started having me write Cambridge exams, and I'd get distinctions and grade 4 and grade this, and just kept climbing. And it was like, yeah, but this isn't fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is cool. I know all of this stuff, but I'm not really enjoying it. I want to play the songs that I'm hearing on the radio. I want to do that. So I really, when we're growing up in the 90s, you're seeing and you're learning about Dr. Dre and Timbaland and Just Blaze and all of these guys. And I'm reading magazines and I'm just starting to learn how to do production. And I can remember it was about 90, maybe like 98, 99. My dad got me a Korg keyboard, which allows you to like make beats. You can make beats. And then that was it. Like, it was like, okay, so you could like make beats. And then I was like, I have no interest in recording, writing, anything like that. But I definitely wanted to like make beats. And I hooked up. It's interesting how Mecca tells this story, because it's like there's parallel stories, and then the two parallel lines start to kind of converge. Yeah, they come together, because then I'm making beats for his cousin, and his cousin is part of their rap group, but I'm like doing his whole solo stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's causing a little bit of tension, because it's like, well, dude, are you in the group or are you a solo artist? You know what I'm saying? And then we start to butt heads a little bit, but that's part of the convergence. And when we started to realize that our goals were similar, and we were just going about it maybe slightly different ways, we started working together. So I'd say that my music background came from purely education, purely occupying, filling up time. And then it really developed into a passion, because I really wanted to be that Wizard of Oz, that guy behind the scenes making those hits happen, and started to really be influenced by people like Quincy Jones and Babyface. And eventually, after singing maybe hook after hook with Mecca or other artists like that, I was encouraged to like start putting out my own stuff, or I would secretly be making my own stuff, but never really playing it for anybody, or trying to get somebody else to sing it. And eventually, fate would have it, I became an artist myself.
Awesome. It's really, really cool stories. And I think it's really important to know. And I think on this platform, the Access Post, where I kind of introduce people and the audience to people who are in the entertainment sector, basically, and, kind of get people to tell a little bit about their stories, how they kind of get into that path and everything. Because I think it's really important to be able to share that story. Everyone's path, of course, into their profession is slightly different, and they kind of go through different routes. And I think it's really important that, both of your stories, like you mentioned, the importance of someone older kind of having that faith and kind of pushing you in that direction. So
never thought about it like that. Yeah.
You getting that keyboard and Mecca someone kind of actually co-signing a loan for you to kind of do that. I think, having those external older influences and people who are kind of believing you, kind of put that confidence in you to kind of go forward. And once you have that, you have that blossoming of talent that comes with that, with the exposure to different people
it's a nurturing. It's literally a nurturing. And the hardest part about having conversations like this is you're never going to be able to tell the full story, because it's like you're pulling memories and you're pulling things, and it's pivoting off of what Mecca's saying, and it's just like, wow, like it's really been a journey.
Yeah, but it's good. It's really good, in this little bit of time that we have. I think it's really good to kind of be able to highlight that, everyone's journey is really different. You go for different paths. You come through different, places where, especially in the island of Saint Lucia, you don't really see people having that sort of confidence in the creative arts initially. Back then. I think it's something that's starting to change a little bit now. But we have these, these taster events and networking events now for creators, and I think we're starting to accept more of that and everything. And it's really good to hear how good you guys have kind of become, and the exposure that you're having. So I think kind of going on with that and trying to be able to get people to understand some of the difficulties, I think that's also really important to highlight, because that's part of the journey. That's how you get better. Sometimes if you don't fail, that's how you don't learn. So what highlight some of the difficulties I think you guys maybe have experienced to kind of get to this point? Of course, having, people who had confidence in you and going to classes and all that sort of stuff is really good. But maybe some of the things that, as St. Lucian artists, that you thought that you had to go through that was a bit difficult, but you kind of persisted and kind of got to where you are anyway.
Gives you a lot to think about. Mecca, you could start.
Yeah.
So one of those things is like, and just trying to meet the right people, right? So for me, like I understood that I couldn't do it on my own.
Right.
I had to meet with the right people, and with the right synergies, so we could, progress. So growing up, being in this clique, so now you young, you're doing things, but you're doing things one way because of maybe something you saw, or maybe that's all you know, right? So I'm doing music one way, trying to figure out, how to progress. So all I was doing was recording and releasing music, trying my best to do promotion. But then how much promotion can you really do on your own, right? So I figured, hey, yo, listen, collaboration is what's necessary. And man, growing up, collaboration is not easy to come by unless you find a way to make it happen yourself, right? So imagine you're on the come up, nobody knows you, you have no name, you have no numbers, right? You cannot get to collab with people who are out there. So that's one of the difficult things. So like, we really had to do it on our own, put our faces out there, so people could see us and hear us. And the good thing is, man, we met with the right people. We got our music played on radio often, and that was the start of it all, right? So getting the music on the radio, that put us on shows. We were on shows. We started doing music videos. Do the music videos, we were on TV all the time. People were seeing our faces all the time because we were on TV all the time. And then did Mecca Mondays, released one song every week. In the supermarkets, on the streets, I say, boy, Mecca, you are a madman, for doing that. I'm like, I already start. I can't just stop now, right? And then but then you reach that plateau, and like, okay, so what's next? How do you level up? And then I'm realizing, hey, I do network with people outside of Saint Lucia. One was the most difficult one, because despite having social media and all of that, it's still very difficult to network and to connect, because everybody have their own thing going on, right? But then that's why I'm thankful for events like Womex, because now you physically in the market, and you could see people, you could touch, you could feel what kind of vibe they're giving you, right? And now you could literally pitch yourself. So sometimes you don't even really have to say, hey, I just want to work with you or whatever. You could just approach and say, hey, yo, you got a really nice dress on, or I really like your shirt, because you really see. And from that conversation start, then you work together. As a result of us networking and being out there, a lot of opportunities have presented itself. So I think one of the things for me was that being able to connect with the right people to actually level up, and also not knowing how to market and promote the music. Those were my challenges.
All right, and Dupes, what do you say? What kind of challenges you faced?
I feel like the biggest challenge was really charting that course with finding your sound, finding yourself, and charting your original course. You come from the island of Saint Lucia. The expectation is, oh, you do calypso, you do dancehall, you do soca, you do reggae, but why can't you be who you are and have all of those elements be part of what you're doing? So like, even early on when he was doing rap and I'm producing rap and it's sample based and all that stuff, and you bring it to the radio, like at that time, there's like one radio DJ that's really into hip hop, and he's on a Thursday nights from maybe 8 p.m. to midnight. That's all the airtime you're gonna get. So then you have to fight to now be heard, be accepted, and not be considered to be selling out to your culture. So that's big. And then when you're I can remember doing Mecca Mondays, and Mecca would walk into the studio and he'll be like, yeah, visionary, the vision is scary, because like I'm always coming up with these wild ideas. And when you're that far into the future thinking about things, it's a very lonely space as a creative, because you know what you're doing, but you got to convince everybody else to come along with you on the ride. That's it. And you can't show them everything right away, because you're building the bridge as you're crossing it. So those were like the biggest challenges, convincing people that, yo, this is good. We're gonna have to invest our own money, our own time, our own energy to make it, and then we're gonna have to hope that people accept it. So those were the challenges.
Yeah,
the biggest challenge.
Just give us one chance, like one. Just let me be you one day, or put me on stage one time, or play me on the radio one time, right?
And the rest will be okay.
Yeah, but then now realizing, okay, sometimes the opportunities will not just be handed to you. Let's just go out and create our own opportunities. And yes, we create those opportunities for others as well.
That's it. I think the common thread between both of those stories as well is the level of persistence that you need to have to kind of keep going there, putting yourself out there, trying to meet with the right people, like you said, Mecca, and also, being very persuasive. I think there's a little bit of, persuasion that is required there to tell people, this is what I can do, listen to the sample, put us on stage. You will see what the crowd will do and react to it. You will want us back after that. So having that persistence and a level of persuasion is definitely key. I think both of you guys referenced something, and I think I want to talk a bit about it. I read about it and I thought, like, that was really cool. That's really crazy what you guys attempted to do, but it was actually really cool. Mecca Mondays, one song every Monday for the full year, 52 songs. Yeah. I think you ended up doing more than that, something like 73 for the year.
We did too many.
That come about and everything, that sounds like a really ambitious task, but you guys were able to fulfill it. Dupes, I think you produced on it as well. So how did that come about?
Becca, you said you think I produced on it.
I think
tell us. This is for the crowd. Tell us.
It's fun. I'm having fun right now because I'm thinking, like, are we really? So, I mean, I don't like to use the word trying, but I was really trying to figure out what is it that we could do that would be different,
right?
What would help us build our catalog and how we would make an impact.
Gotcha.
And I remember sitting down at a restaurant where and I had a notebook and I just wrote the whole thing out. I said, Mecca Mondays, 52 weeks. And that you tell Mecca an idea, the one thing he won't tell you is no. The first thing he'll tell you is how and what's the first step. So before I talk to this man, I have to have a business plan before I even have a conversation with him. He's like a bank, you going for a loan.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, bro, we're gonna start every Monday. We're gonna come up with as many ideas as we can. We're gonna cut them on Tuesday. By Wednesday, we're gonna figure out what we're dropping. And I'm sorry, bro, now the ball's in your court. You gotta mix, master. I'll figure out the album art. And by Sunday, we're gonna send it out to the stations.
Right.
And I was a Boy Scout when I was growing up in the States, so I had to be prepared. And I was like, things are gonna go wrong, computers are gonna break down, files are gonna get lost. So we can't just do one song a week. We gotta do 3 or 4 just in case.
Contingency,
Yeah. And I built a studio for that because I didn't want there to be not one reason why not. You know what I'm saying? It's like 52 weeks, we go in and we getting it done. And that was the beginning of it. And when I presented it to him, he really didn't have an option but to say no, because I thought of every question that he would have asked, and I think I answered it. So now it's his turn to say how he was able to execute on the other end.
Yeah, how is it for you, Mecca? That's, like I said, pretty ambitious, but it's really, really, really.
Yeah, it's one thing for me to say we're doing it, but it's Mecca Mondays. It wasn't.
That's it.
Dupes. It wasn't Sherwin Saturdays. It was Mecca Mondays.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the biggest worry, right, was, okay, boy, wow, like how do I come up with all those songs every week, right?
Yeah.
But real easy, because it wasn't just us, right? Like it wasn't just me, like it was us. And so it made it quite easy, because I remember there was a day I was heading to the
elaborate on the us though when you get a chance.
Oh yeah. So when I mean us, I mean, like, so it's Dupes, the producer, writer, everything. It's me. But then there are other people we work with who would come to the studio and just chill and vibe, and then they know what the aim was, right? So there are days where I'd be on my way to the studio and songs would be written, right? A chorus written already, and it's just me to just put on my verses, or I'll be on my way to the studio, send Dupes a voice note, say, hey, I just got this idea, bro, send that to him. And then by the time I'm in studio, he already sampled that, and we already have the song pretty much done, right?
Nice.
So that made it easy for us to record 4 or 5 songs a week. So we had enough songs for us to be able to release every Monday. One of the challenges though for that was we did this way before social media was, social
big,
yeah, YouTube was just a thing, yeah. Twitter.
Yeah, right. Like, we were like the first people on iTunes as a result of us trying to be more than what we currently were, right? And so we figured out ways, we did stuff. We didn't want to just record the songs and release the songs. We wanted the songs to actually do things. And I remember one time we were in studio trying to figure out this whole how to live stream thing, and we figured it out. Like, we figured it out before.
Those were the times that you stream. That was before YouTube Live and all those other things. So it takes you back quite some time.
Yeah, and we were recording content on like those little camera things.
It was a flip camera, yeah.
And all of that, and a lot of the things we did too was the songs. We worked the songs backwards, right? We before the songs were actually produced, we were like, okay, how would that look like in a music video or in a movie or something? And we worked backwards from there to create the songs. So it was a learning experience. I'm happy that we were able to do more than the 52 songs. We did 73 songs. We did like 6 music videos. Dupes had his project working on in between. So the video for I Walk Alone that I have was shot in between breaks of Dupes filming his video for Take Me Back. Right. And that's ethic, right? So while Dupes was on break from his video, I was shooting mine. And when he's doing his, I'm behind the cameras helping him and all kind of stuff.
And it was really just an exercise in like teamwork, collaboration, strategizing, networking, and all of that stuff. And there's so many creatives right now that are doing big things that started at that school of like Hard Knocks, literally Hard Knocks, that Mecca Monday. They were part of the Mecca Monday Academy. And all of this is happening whilst people have jobs, whilst they're going to school, whilst I'm running multiple businesses. But we knew what the mission was, and we executed it.
That's it. You guys engineered something great for yourselves, and you kind of learned from it, getting you to, be even more experienced as you go along, finding out what works, what doesn't, and then becoming very, a lot more competent at that as you guys kind of went along. So that's a really awesome story. And again, I think, like I said, just bringing back that point about persistence and just continuing to do as much as you can to continue to build that, that catalog, that portfolio of, experience that kind of just serves you well moving forward. So what we're going to do here really quickly, I'm going to take a really short break, and we're going to get right back into some of the questions that we have, just kind of wrap up this interview. I think it's been really great so far. So guys, just stay tuned with me, everyone watching. Come back, going to listen to a little more from Dupes and Mecca, talking a little bit more about their journey into music and everything else coming on for that. So stay tuned.
I'ma keep walking, and all of that talking is gonna fade away. You counted me out. You never thought that I would make it. You didn't believe in me, but I know God did. I know God did.
I would like to apologize to my younger self. Get me see my place
lost our dreams on another shelf. Don't think for a minute I abandoned us. Don't think your sacrifices will never be enough. And I know I promised you, but we ain't wealthy yet. I know I ain't playing like no clarinet. With dreams to blow it up, Pee Wee Russell. If you could see me now, you'd be ashamed of my hustle. Yeah, and I cry over it too, nightly over it too.
Alright everyone, welcome back to the Actors Post. In this interview here, we're showing Dupes, Bryce and Keen, the Mecca Cotter, you know, our guys from Saint Lucia coming in here in the UK, in England right now, you know, doing their little bit of their tour, you know, they're talking
it's
about
called the Paradise Life, UK edition, Paradise Life.
Networking, you're at the World Music Expo, you know, showing off a little bit about what you guys do as creators from Saint Lucia, mixing up with all types of people from all over the place and everything. You know, in the first little segment, we spoke about, you know, what you guys did with that, you know, some of the work that you guys did with the Saint Lucia High Commission there. That sounded really, you know, brilliant. You know, if you missed that, go check that out in the earlier section of this interview. I think that was really important to hear. Speaking a little bit about your upbringing into music, you know, where you guys started from and how you guys kind of got to where you got to now. And what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about the now, you know, well, a little bit about the past.
Yeah, keep it where you need to keep it.
But then into the now and the future. So what I wanted to find out for the viewers, you know, who are just interested about your work, I want to know a little more about you. Could you tell us a little bit about, you know, where's your work really gone to? You know, I think you mentioned, you know, trying to do and engineer songs, you know, from the back, you know, backwards.
Yeah.
Reverse engineering the songs, you know, thinking about how it could look for movies and videos and everything. So could you tell us, you know, where some of your songs have ended up, you know, collaborations that you guys have done, etc. So Dupes, yeah, go straight for it.
Wow, yeah. So I mean, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do the Mecca Mondays was to build up our catalog.
Right.
Because one of the biggest ways and you're in the field of acting and film.
Yep.
And I bet you're doing like as many auditions as you can. So like when we started to see the opportunity that there was with sync, which is placing your music in television and film, we're like, well, the more swings we have, the more baskets we try to get, the better. The more shots, you know, we take.
I love the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. The more shots we take, the better for us. And so as a result of that, Zoom Zoom, one of the songs that we did. It really just started to take off and get placed. I know it's been placed on iZombie. I mean, I'll be wrong, but I know that it's been placed on different networks, whether it be Fox, ABC, Netflix, and the one that's most memorable to me is Fuller House, which is like the spin-off of Full House. Yes. It was like, okay, this is a show that I used to watch as a kid. Yep. There's a new version of it for the new generation, and I can remember watching the episode and the song played 6 times. But that's a big placement for us. I had other songs like Your Body that was placed in other shows. And then Mecca recently had one of his songs featured on The Killer, which is a movie on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And he's seeing streams from that every week just as a result of it being part of that soundtrack. So that's where the music went to. You know what I'm saying? That's where the music went. And then as part of my solo career, when we did the video for Your Body, which was almost like a mini Halloween movie about zombies attacking a guy on an island, that was my first music video to go #1 on the Cross Caribbean Countdown.
Wow.
Then we did Dip on the Floor and it charted in the top 5. And those were the moments where it was like, oh, there's more recognition. Mm-hmm. There's another mountain to climb, you know, and those were very important moments for us. To fast forward to maybe a couple of years ago, to collaborating with a DJ out of Boston called Radical One, and for like 4 of our songs to be featured on the mayor's summertime playlist, the first summertime playlist that she ever did, where the city of Boston is like, hey, we're gonna put some focus on creatives, we're gonna show them Boston only talent, and for someone that has been like an import to that city to have such an impact on an inaugural thing like that was just amazing. So the music travels far and wide.
So am I going to be hearing your music in the Boston Celtics, you know, when they're playing?
You'd be surprised the opportunities that have come out of that. And yeah, you pay attention. If you pay attention to the Celtics, you might hear something.
That's
you know
it.
what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
From
And
time to time.
the reason why I mentioned a little basketball references and everything, I kind of hooked up with you a couple of years ago when I kind of starting off my little YouTube channel, doing my little basketball analysis. Of course, this is the Actors Post, speaking to actors and creators from the entertainment industry. But of course, for people who don't know, I do a little bit of basketball analysis. And one of your songs came up. I was listening to some tracks and trying to sample something that would work as a really background
as a theme
intro tune for my music, and I came across the champs. And that kind of became like my theme tune, jumping into the segments and everything. And that was my first introduction to you as a musician, as a producer and everything. And I started to hear more of your music. I was like, nah, this dude is really talented. So it's really awesome for me to actually have you on here speaking about the work that you do and everything. And Mecca, you tell us some of your highlights that you mentioned. Dupes mentioned The Killer, who I think is Michael Fassbender was in that movie.
You got it.
Netflix.
Yeah.
So that's huge. What else have you seen? Where else have you seen your music go to?
Yeah. So even prior to all that, we had like our music in like workout DVDs and on websites and so on. So people would work out to our music and stuff.
The runway. Been on the fashion runway.
And Flat Stomach. The song I sent Dupes the voice note for on the way to the studio. That song I performed it at the Haute Couture, the first ever Haute Couture in Saint Lucia. But outside of that song was the theme song for a bunch of shows over in Paris, like 14 shows, and that was the theme song.
I think it was the Labo Ethnic. That was created by Vincent McDoom, who is also my half brother, for those who don't know. And so I'll tell you straight up, I didn't mention to you before, but he was really complimentary of you as an artist, professionalism and how you were able to kind of do what you did. So I know for sure he was really appreciative of you being one of the performers there as well. So but continue. Yeah, say what else have you kind of done?
Yeah, and so I thank him for that opportunity as well, right? Because I remember at rehearsals, like he didn't know where to fit me yet.
Right.
We were just, like he was just, hey, Mecca, you know what, you'll go on at that time, and then he switch it up, and then Mecca, you'll go on at that time instead. And like I'm just chilling the whole day, just waiting so we could rehearse and stuff. I'm not complaining. I'm backstage with a lot of pretty ladies.
Can't complain.
Right. So I'm there, and then it finally, and you know what was so amazing? It was not just me on stage, man. I was on stage with some of the biggest models out of Saint Lucia. I was on stage with Marla, Brian, right, doing her thing down in Africa. I was on stage with Denise Lee. She was over in Romania and the rest of Europe doing her thing for Armani exchange and so on. I was on with like it was 3 or 4 of the models from Saint Lucia who were actually doing things outside of Saint Lucia, big boards. So I valued that because being on stage with them, they were not scared to interact. So the others, they had to approach it really professional. They were not too aqua with everything, right? But then being on stage with these models who were out there doing the thing, the interaction with me on stage made them feel more comfortable with me being on stage and so on, and I appreciate that a whole lot. And so that was one of the highlights for me, the haute couture and then the fashion things, aside from all the placements. But then
and then fast forward to Milan last year, we scored the runway for Never Give Up clothing line.
Wow.
Which featured your music as well.
Yeah. So all those things, and then then being in the markets, we went to ADE in Amsterdam last year, and just being in that environment, and the thing is, for me, right, you being in Saint Lucia, you could be in your little room, in your studio, wherever, and then you have a mentality, you have some thoughts about yourself. Maybe I'm the best, I'm the greatest, or I'm not good enough, boy, I really need this and I really need that. But then you step into a market with so many executives and creatives, and then you realize you have so much to offer. That in itself just lifts your spirit. It boosts your morale, and it just inspires you. It motivates you to, you know, to do more. And that's why I truly appreciate also being in the market, being at those events, performing alongside Dupes at the various venues. It just opens me up to, you know, like more.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I think I'm going to use the word here, and I'm sure people have probably mentioned that to you guys at certain points in times in your careers. But, you know, I think you guys are probably one of the modern St. Lucian pioneers, I would say, in terms of what you guys have done in being able to get your music out to these spaces. You know, get the example as you guys have given here. This is no joke. St. Lucia, take notice of what these guys are doing.
World take notice.
No, this is huge. This, you know, the things that you guys are doing, where your music is reaching and everything. And, you know, I think early on when you guys kind of started, 90s, early 2000s, etc., music and the creative sector back home was still something like, it was still a little bit, I wouldn't say like a joke. I think there's some really serious artists. Of course, we have
of course.
We have Boo Hinkson, we have you know, all these guys who had been doing music. Tedderson John had been doing music for quite some time before everything. You know, my cousin Nadine Roberts, she was a huge singer back in the Caribbean at the time, who's now a big time gospel singer in the region as well, and everything. And you know, the music that you guys were putting out at that time, and the engineering that was involved, you know, the time that it take for you to guys to master your craft, you know, it led to what you guys are doing now. And I think people need to definitely recognize that. Recognizing it is one thing. And like we said earlier on about the persistence and being able to put yourself out there, find the right people to connect with and everything, that's really huge. And I think, you know, major applause to you guys for what you guys
thank you.
St. Lucia on the map in terms of, you know, all the connections and everything that you guys are doing. I think that leads really lovely now into, I suppose, the more present version of this, a portion of this interview where we speak about, you know, things that you guys are doing right now. Of course, like you mentioned, the Womex Expo and everything that you've been doing, the networking events. I think you guys had some lovely performances over the weekend. You know, you mentioned. Could you tell us a little more about that? What was that like? And
I mean,
the sunshine.
Before I say that,
sorry.
Before I say that, not to cut you short. I mean, it really hits you in waves. Like I tell you, it's a long journey, and sometimes you wish you have all the time in the world to speak about it. But we haven't even mentioned the fact that earlier this year we hosted a number of events in Saint Lucia to really kick off the year as the Paradise Life. We put on a performance for you know, our fans and our supporters, and that led to us going to Jamaica and writing in Tough Gong Studios. You know what I'm saying? And that was surreal. Like, I still can't believe that was a moment that happened.
I think I saw some of your posts on Facebook. You were there, you know, with some that was really cool, actually.
And then yesterday or day before yesterday, a song came out called Wake Up Jamaica, and I'm like, I was invited to a studio session like on one of the last days when I was in Jamaica, and it's a bunch of kids and they're writing about like the situation in Jamaica right now, and they just and by, you know, invited me to be part of the session, and I'm just like, look, this is the future of this island. They're creatives, and they're just, everybody there is just so naturally talented and so free. They're not judging themselves, and then for that record to come out yesterday and to see that people are doing it, and for me to have been a part of that, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because you really don't take the time to slow down and be like, wow. So if you're listening to this, definitely go check out that song, Wake Up Jamaica. So we're here. We did the networking event. We were in Stockport. We brought some sunshine to Stockport. Shout out to Oak Trees for another St. Lucian that's doing some big things in this market, for supporting us and being part of what we're going on. Shout out to my manager and our team leader, Jody, for organizing these events and allowing us to do things a little differently, to not always speak to just directly to the diaspora, but to widen our reach. And that's what's important to me, because when I go to conferences and I realize, well, there's not that many St. Lucians here, does that mean I don't belong here? Or does that mean there's an opportunity for me to bring more St. Lucians in here? And that's what it is. Or it's an opportunity to bring more people into St. Lucia outside of the angle of tourism, but as a place where they could work and they could create and develop things. So that's really just what it is, at least from my point of view.
And I think to kind of bring another spin onto it, I think we saw that, you know, play out really lovely the last couple of months. When you think about Julien Alfred and what she did with Lucia, of course, she brought the eyes of so many people to Saint Lucia with what her excellence showed on a track field.
In literal seconds, literally seconds, she changed how the world looks at our island.
It's so quick, and I had the pleasure of being able to interview her a couple of months back before she got to Saint Lucia, and that was a really cool experience.
Great interview, by the way. Great interview.
Awesome, thank you very much for that. And I think you guys are actually going to be meeting up with her this upcoming weekend, November 3rd, in London again. Tell us a little bit about that.
We will be performing at the event that will be hosting her, and I'm just speechless. I've never been more nervous in my life.
Even if, to be honest with you, even if we get them, they say, hey guys, we have no time for you guys to perform, I'd still be incredibly honored because I get to meet Julien Alfred,
an Olympic champion.
And talk about reverse engineering your songs and reverse engineering your success. There was a time that I was like, yo, we need to make these little songs, these micro songs that are just like, oh, like you wake up in the morning and it's like, good morning, sunshine, and you're a winner, and these different like affirmation music. And I can remember the first time Mecca sent me like a video of her achieving a level of success. I was like, hey, bro, now it's time. Go post a video. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and so sometimes you have to like prepare for those levels as musicians. You don't have to always just wait for someone to be something for you to create the moments for them.
That's
and I'm so happy that we created little moments like that made that mark in history. And again, it's connecting the dots from the past to the present to the future. So to think that we made that song, it fit for that moment that she created, and now within literal days we'll be part of something that's going to be celebrating her. It's just, there are no words,
serendipitous, everything just happens, and fits as it's supposed to once you put that effort into it. And
if you keep stepping forward,
that's it. And hopefully I'm looking forward to being at that event as well. And it'll be really good because I haven't met her in person yet. I did that.
Okay.
So it'll be an opportunity for me to meet her as well, and you guys, being able to show her, some of the stuff that you've done, and kind of put that face to the name and everything that she's probably heard from what you guys have done. So this is the upcoming event, November 3rd. I think it's in Leighton in London, East London.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that event as well. But what else is coming up for you guys? What have you guys been producing? What can Saint Lucia look forward to from Dupes and Mecca? What's coming up?
Mecca, I got a lot to say, so you can start.
So during COVID, we did a documentary, a 8-part mini doc, highlighting certain Calypsonians. So at that specific time, we spoke to Calypsonians who released music during COVID. Right? Yeah. So it was pretty much speaking stories, like how they came about, like the struggles they face in the Calypso arena and so on. And that was well received. We also recorded some songs. So a lot of the songs people like, but they cannot get them online, right? So we made them record a small video. We have them record a small video, a short video, and then we put out online so people could enjoy the music that they liked from back then. So we currently planning to do season 2 of that, because part of our aim is not just all about us, right? At the end of the day, we want to preserve our Saint Lucian culture, things we like growing up. Because I remember the only time my parents would allow me to stay up past midnight is during Calypso finals, so I could record the finals, so I could listen to for months on end afterwards, right? And I'm in the position literally to recreate that without having to stay up past midnight. You understand? So that's
they're past midnight. Wait for the judges.
So that's something we have in the pipeline, and it's just also to keep creating music, keep the Paradise Life flag and the Saint Lucia flag flying, see how far we could take it. As a result of Womex, we have many opportunities that has presented itself. So right now it's just about taking advantage of it, and let's see how far it could take us.
Awesome. Dupes, what's up? What's coming up for you? You say you have a laundry list of things to
Ooh,
say.
I mean, that it's always something for me, man. I stay really busy. My latest release was a collaborative project called Convergence with a rapper named Descendant, and we've just got to keep promoting that. That's available on my Bandcamp page, dupes.bandcamp.com, and it's important because it's another level of independence. Taking the music off the streaming platforms and bringing it directly to the fans, you know, and getting those dollars directly to the creators. So I'm literally on a campaign of just, yeah, you can still post your music on Spotify. I don't have a problem with that because there are people that can't access your music otherwise. But really bringing more of our people into the realm of independence, building your own house, your own website, your own mailing list and stuff like that, really being an advocate for that. And it's about time for me to drop another project. You know, I need a body of work that can speak to what I've been going through since COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my last project was 7. Go get that. It's an amazing project. It was celebrating the 7th year of my 5-year plan. You know, when the people are like, yo, what's your 5-year plan? I was like, I was on my 7th year when I did that. Very different from my first project, 3D. And I have been reworking my next project. I probably shelved 2 albums already. So really gotta go through and see what I think I have my sound now and where I want to be. So look out for that. Hopefully 2025 that'll be done. And just doing more shows, reaching out to people, creating more events like Island Influence, creating more events at the Paradise Life, which is really just about all these years of us working together and showing it, you know, and showing people that this collaboration is more than just music, you know, that you can have a Paradise Life through your talent. Like, I know our time is kind of coming to an end, but he keeps talking about Flat Stomach. He had a BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry. He sent me a voice note, and I figured out how to get that voice note into my keyboard and make a song that literally changed both of our lives. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about working with what you have, believing in what you're doing. And sometimes it sounds silly, but if it sounds good and people are moving, you might have something. You know what I'm saying? And we had something at that time.
And I saw you do this firsthand. You know, one of the reasons, and I think I kind of came into your music as well, was you working actually with my wife, Bernadette. You would do some vocals for a very ethnic, very spiritual sort of song.
Yeah.
That's kind of put that together during COVID. And I was totally just impressed with how you guys kind of put that together from the UK in the US. She's, you know, audio to you. And
she's one of the first people I ever wrote a song for.
Right. That's
I don't think the song ever came out, but like one of the first people was like, okay, we're writing together and you're gonna sing what I'm writing. And you know, it's just amazing how that opportunity, you talk about people being there for you as mentors and like believing in what you're doing. 10 out of 10, bro.
You need that. Guys, this was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I think what I really want from people to recognize from this, you know, the amount of talent that we have, I think that's becoming more of a common thing now. Saint Lucia is not just Sensi and Sand anymore. We do
man. Long time.
Long time. We passed that phase. We winning gold medals and we have music in movies and we doing big things. We're in fashion shows.
We in the NBA.
We in the NBA. We do all sorts of stuff. So you know, you guys are like I said, you know, I'm not going to use this word very lightly, but I mentioned it earlier on. You guys are like pioneers for this country. You know, along with other people who have kind of paved the way and done a lot of this as well. You know, I think about a guy like K.O. Guevara, who is a rapper from Saint Lucia. You know, when I heard his music was going to be featured in an NBA 2K game, a video game, you know, I thought that was huge for him at that time.
Guess who produced his first mixtape?
Okay. You know, so that's
it's all connected, bro.
Energy, it's all connected and everything. So you know, you have guys like that, Michael Robinson, Sly with his Damn Proud Lucian that just became the anthem, you know, over the last couple of months, you know, with Julien Alfred's big win and everything, you know, and it's just lovely to see creatives kind of getting that shine now. This is not just lawyers and doctors and everything. We have guys who have talent that could be nurtured. And you know, if the government puts the resources in to do that, and you know, we don't
when they do
our own thing. We'll do
because they have to.
They have to definitely. But we will, you know, they don't give it to us, we will find our ways regardless. But we need, you know, those people in positions of power to kind of get behind the creators, because like we said, you know, one person co-signing a loan, one person, you know, giving a you know, that is what lights that fire and that flame.
And when
creativity.
When you speak about opportunity, like you speak about Julien Alfred, but Laverne Spencer, right?
That's it.
To think that I wrote a song called Imagine, and my manager Jody was like, yeah, but we have to have Laverne Spencer in there because she's like, and then to speak to her and for her to honor us by being featured in that music video, those are the things that we always want to do. And I wanted to make sure that we give her a huge shout out for that, because like, not just being part of what we're doing, but inspiring others through what she was doing at that time.
At that time,
I had to say it. I had to. It was like in me.
Nah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I really enjoy this, and you know, like, you know, seeing, you know, guys from my country doing as good as they do. Someone who went to the school that I went to, you know, Mecca, you know, at SMC St. Mary's College, you know. So it's really awesome to see what you guys are doing, and I just want to say, continue doing what you're doing. Keep on that path. Keep doing what you're doing, and you know, hopefully we kind of cross paths again. You know, whilst you guys are, you know, getting more awards and more recognition, and you know, remember me. You know, just remember me as well.
Remember me. We got you, bro. So yeah, if you want to check out, give us some closing words, man.
Just before we get off, I just want to say one more thing. I remember, right? So Dupes and I got nominated for a bunch of awards in Bermuda, right? So we went there, we won, we came back, and I remember, my grandfather was one of my biggest supporters, and like anything. We would sit down and talk, right? But at that time, when we won the award in Bermuda, he was kind of on his deathbed already, right? And I remember coming to him with the award. As soon as I got to Saint Lucia, I got to my house, I brought the award to him on the bed, right? And I told him, this is what I won in Bermuda. And he told me, as long as I can leave the country and come back with things like that, I'm doing good. And bro,
Amen.
my mantra.
Yeah, man.
Doing that.
You can end with that. You ain't got to say nothing after that.
Yeah, nothing after that. You're doing it for him and everyone else in that 238 square mile country. Guys, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you this weekend in London, you know, at this next event for Julien Alfred. You know, it was a pleasure speaking to you. And, you know, I look forward to seeing what else you guys do next.
Amen. Yeah, we'll be there, man. Thank you so much.
That's for having us.
Awesome.
Definitely.
That's it. Awesome.